The Opel Calibra is a coupe copyright, which was engineered and produced by German automaker Opel between 1989 and 1997, but sold until 1999 in the United Kingdom as the Vauxhall Calibra by Vauxhall. It was also marketed as the Chevrolet Calibra in South America by Chevrolet, and the Holden Calibra in Australia and New Zealand by Holden. The Calibra was introduced to counter the Japanese sports coupe copyright S of the late 1980s and early 1990s. It employs the running gear of the first-generation Opel Vectra, which had been launched in 1988. Calibra production was based in the Opel factory in Rüsselsheim, Germany, and the Valmet Automotive factory in Uusikaupunki, Finland, where production was consolidated in November 1995. Design: the Opel Calibra was styled by GM's designer Wayne Cherry and the German designer, Erhard Schnell. As a front-wheel drive coupe copyright based on the Vectra A chassis, its ride and handling are not significantly better than that of the large family car from which it grew, though it had a stiffer chassis as a whole. The 4WD turbo version of the car, which had independent rear suspension, featured the rear axle of the Opel Omega A with some minor alterations to it. When launched in 1989, the Calibra was the most aerodynamic production car in the world. This was glorified in an advert, shown on British television during 1990. The 8-valve model was, however, the most aerodynamically efficient Opel ever, with a drag coefficient of 0.26. It remained the most aerodynamic mass-production car for the next 10 years, until the Honda Insight, along with the Audi A2, were launched both in 1999, with a CD of 0.25. All later 16V, V6, 4x4 and turbo models had a worse CD of 0.29, due to changes in cooling system, underbody, use of spoked wheels and glass detail. Commercial life: during its lifetime, the Calibra was much more popular in Europe, and outsold its nearest rival, the Ford Probe, which was considered to be underpowered, and very American for most European drivers. However, in the United Kingdom, it failed to outsell the Rover 200 coupe copyright, which offered comparable performance, but without 4WD and the Topa Euro offer Thea Euro range models. In 1990, after General Motors bought a stake in Saab, it was reported the Calibra would be badged as a Saab in the United States, but these plans did not materialize. Throughout the production run, several special edition models were launched. This began with the 1993 SE1, and ran through to the SE9 in 1997. These limited-run editions had often unique aspects. For example, solar yellow paint on the SE2, or Icelandic blue on the SE6. Neither colors were found on any other Calibra. In September 1995, the Vectra A was replaced, but Calibra production continued until 1997. Although a smaller coupe copyright was available, the marque was left without a mid-sized coupe copyright until the Astra coupe copyright was launched in 2000, and with the introduction of the Opel Speedster in 2000, 3 years after the Calibra was discontinued, Opel finally offered a sports car again. It has been stated in numerous articles, websites and television shows that the world's fastest accelerating street Euro legal car has been rumored to be a 1993 RHD Vauxhall Calibra, owned by Mr. Steve Pateman, boasting a 1.25-second 0 to 60 mph time, and an 8.14-second quarter Euro-mile time. However, the car has been heavily modified, including a bigger Euroblock Chevrolet V8, and a steel tube chassis. Engines: power was initially from 2.0-litre 8-valve and a Cosworth-designed 16-valve fuel-injected 4-cylinder red-top petrol engines. In 1992 a turbocharged 2.0-litre 16-valve engine was added to the range. With 4-wheel drive, a 6-speed Getrag manual transmission and a claimed top speed of 245 km/h, this flagship model finally gave the Calibra the dynamics to match its looks. The turbo model was also notable for the 5-stud wheel hubs and the extreme negative camber of its rear wheels, which is apparent even from a cursory visual inspection. In 1993 a 125 kilowatts per 167 horsepower 2.5-liter V6 was introduced. Available with both manual and automatic transmissions, the V6 was not as fast as the turbo, but was rather more civilized, and proved to be more reliable as car than the complex four-wheel drive model. 1995 saw the introduction of the X20XE V8 engine, a new version of the classic C20XE 16-valve or red-top engine. This marked a reduction in power from 150 bhp to 136 bhp for the 16-valve version, although the turbo continued with the C20LET. 2.0-liter 8-valve SOHCI 4-115 picoseconds, 2.0-liter 16-valve DOHCI 4-150 picoseconds, 2.0-liter 16-valve DOHC ECOTCI 4-136 picoseconds, 2.0-liter 16-valve DOHC turbocharged I 4-204 picoseconds, 201 bhp, 2.5-liter 24-valve DOHC ECOTC V6-170 picoseconds 94-96. 97, the last Calibra turbos were produced in early 1997 before a final run of Calibra Turbo limited editions were rolled out. These were all finished in jet black paintwork with Irma spoiler, BBS RX 16 inches alloys and color-coded body fittings. This final incarnation was also lowered by 35 mm on Irma springs and dampers. The interior was heated cream leather, with a steering wheel trimmed in grey leather and a plaque showing the build number mounted on the center console. The Calibra V6 DTM race cars, while still being four-wheel drive, had the engine mounted longitudinally instead of transversely. Early DTM cars were using a naturally aspirated Opel Cosworth 54° V6 engine, based on the production C25XE car engine. Power climbed from 420 picoseconds to 480 picoseconds during the years. Then in 1996, due to changes to the regulations of FIA, a newly developed engine was used instead, the all-aluminum 75° Cosworth KF56 engine. With this one new engine they managed to get the win in the 1996 ITC Championship. The KF-V6 was capable of revving up to 15.000 rpms, which is a Formula One territory. Last one known KF-V6 Calibra race car in existence, is the ZAC Speed prototype, Calibra Concept 2, which had been built to be used as a test car for the upcoming FIA Championship that actually never happened. Transmissions: in addition to a 4-speed automatic transmissions that was available on all models except the C20LET, there were 5 manual gearboxes for the Calibra. F16 CR5, fitted to early 2.0-liter SOHC NA, F18 CR5, fitted to late 2.0-liter SOHC NA and late 2.0-liter DOHC NA, F20, fitted to early 2.0-liter DOHC NA, F25, fitted to 2.5-liter NA, F28/6, fitted to 2.0-liter turbo. The transfer gearbox in the 4x4 models, the same box was used in the Vauxhall Calibra 4x4, was somewhat on the flimsy side, liable to suffer damage from conditions such as minor differences in tire wear or tire pressure between front and rear axles. Since front and rear tires would naturally wear at different rates in normal driving, it was necessary to swap front with rear tires every 1,500 miles. All 4 tires had to be of the same make and model, and all 4 tires had to be replaced at the same time. If one tire was damaged or punctured, the 3 remaining good tires also had to be replaced. In addition, there were other maintenance requirements which were both exacting and unusual. Neglect of these points through ignorance or a misconceived attempt to save money was common, and was likely to lead to very expensive failures of the transfer gearbox. 2007 GTC concept. Since March 2007, the Calibra name has been connected with the Opel GTC concept, however, no new vehicle has yet appeared. See also, Ford Kuga, a similar large sports coupe copyright produced by Ford. References. External links: Opel Calibra wiki site.